Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Speculation Locomotive. In this episode, I want to talk to you about why I think we should make the switch to electric cars. I am not what I would consider an environmentalist. However, I have been working on a project at the Cog Railway to replace our fleet of diesel hydraulic locomotives with battery electric locomotives. And as part of that process, I decided that I should probably try an electric car. So I bought a Tesla, not knowing whether it was going to be a good choice or not. But I wanted to see what all the hype was about and how cold weather affected the range and whether or not you had enough range to handle the normal amount of driving that you needed to do every day. After driving the Tesla for a few weeks, I was really impressed with the car and the full self-driving capabilities that it offered, and found that it was extremely convenient because I could just charge it at home using an extra dryer outlet that I had. I found that the range offered by the batteries was more than sufficient for most of the driving that I do, although I will admit that I was concerned when I had to take a long trip someplace, but I found that the charging stations were easy to use and quite fast. Now I know some of you may be thinking, electric cars? They're expensive and not as powerful as traditional cars, but I'm here to tell you that that has not been my experience. The initial cost is not much different than a gasoline car, and the cars are very powerful. And the best and most important thing about buying an electric car is it makes the Middle East irrelevant and could put an end to the wars over resources. Let's start with the most obvious advantage of electric cars. They run on electricity, not gasoline. This means that we would no longer have to rely on oil-producing countries for our fuel, reducing their economic and political power over the world. Can you imagine the peace and stability we would have and the money and lives that would be saved from not having to compete for oil resources? But it's not just about the resource wars. Building new gasoline stations is not an easy or environmentally friendly process. It involves digging up land, laying pipelines, and the constant risk of spills and damage to the environment. With electric cars, we can eliminate the need for all of this and simply charge our cars at home. Let's not forget about the ease of charging your car at home. All you need is a master kit of adapters that can be used with any outlet. No more looking for specific gas stations or worrying about compatibility. Simply plug in and charge while you sleep or go about your day. And add to that the fact that you can install solar panels and battery storage facilities for your home that you can use to charge the car and as a backup in case the electrical grid goes down. Now, I know there are some concerns about the environmental impact of electricity production for electric cars, but here's the thing. The main purpose of switching to electric cars is not to protect the environment, although that is a huge benefit. The main goal is to end the wars over resources. However, it's worth mentioning that electric cars still have a lower carbon footprint compared to traditional cars, and the technology is improving all the time. I understand that this transition to electric cars may be causing disruptions in the auto industry, particularly for legacy automakers who were slow to catch on to the trend. But we've seen companies like Tesla take the lead, and other automakers are not far behind. I believe they will eventually turn the corner and won't be suffering as much as they are now. In fact, some have already started to shift their focus to electric, so think about it. Electric cars have the potential to make the Middle East irrelevant, end wars over resources, and reduce the harm caused to the environment. And let's not forget about the convenience and cost savings for consumers. The future is electric, and it's time for us to embrace this change and drive towards a better world. I also urge you to test drive a Tesla if you haven't, particularly one with the full self-driving capability, which admittedly wasn't everything that it was promised to be in the beginning, but has been receiving regular updates and has been getting better and better at least every 3 months, and lately every month. And I don't think it is far from becoming everything that it was promised to be. And I think in the future, all automobiles will have full self-driving capability. In conclusion, I urge you to consider buying an electric car. Not only will you be making a wise investment, but you will also be contributing to a more sustainable and peaceful world. Thank you.